Oscar-winning director Ron Howard has been in show business literally from the time he was in diapers. He appeared in his first movie, Frontier Woman, at 18 months old. By the age of 6, he was a star, playing Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show and later Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. But it turns out through all those years of young stardom, Howard was dreaming of being on the other side of the camera. He didn't want to star in movies, he wanted to make them. And boy, has he. Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, Frost Nixon, just for starters. Ron and I got together for a Sunday sit-down to talk about a lifetime in show business and his latest big project, the new Star Wars movie, Solo. Ron Howard is a big Star Wars fan. He saw the original movie on its opening day in 1977, then got back in line and saw it again.
What I immediately started to connect with were sort of the way that these movies entertain. The fun, but also the heart.
When the original directors of the highly anticipated new Star Wars movie Solo, about young Han Solo, walked away last year over creative differences, the studio turned to Howard.
I really felt like I could bring something to it. I felt I understood it. And also, just as a fan, I thought that what they had captured was a lot of really fantastic answers to the questions of, you know, what are the events, what are the relationships that might have shaped young Han Solo.
Is that a strange thing for a director to inherit somebody else's work?
It's kind of akin to coming in as a manager or a coach, you know, mid-season.
Howard knew if he was going to get the story of Han Solo right, there was one man he needed to find.
Did you talk to Harrison Ford about who Han Solo is?
I did talk to Harrison. He had some great ideas. I mean, it was, and a lot of it were very soulful ideas, despite all the swagger and all the physicality and all of the stuff that Han Solo is known for.
Solo is the latest chapter in Howard's lifelong Hollywood story. He landed his first paid job at the age of 4 in the film The Journey.
Yul Brynner was this bigger-than-life guy who spoke 7 languages. And what I remember is one scene, and he takes this shot of vodka and then bites the glass. He's just that tough. And I must have been like, you know, my eyes must have been wide. And he said, come here, Ronnie. This is sugar. This is not glass. You cannot bite real glass. This is make-believe.
First lesson of acting.
First lesson of acting.
Right. The 64-year-old Howard was born in Duncan, Oklahoma. His parents both were actors, and the family moved to Hollywood in 1958. Ron was 5 years old when he caught the eye of the producers of The Andy Griffith Show. He was cast as Andy's mischievous son, Opie Taylor.
Go on now, give her a little sugar.
As easygoing as The Andy Griffith Show looks, and as playful and fun as the environment was, it was also a real workplace.
The Andy Griffith Show made Howard a star when he was barely old enough to sign his own name.
I did eventually have to learn how to handwrite my name for autographs, which is the reason I learned how to write. People got a little tired of the autograph taking forever. Right.
Even at that young age, there were hints about Howard's future in Hollywood.
And all that creative problem solving is really what I think I really wanted to be a part of.
It's amazing you learned that at that age. You already recognized that this is something you wanted to be a part of.
So many of the directors on the show had been actors. And so early on they were saying to me, I bet you're going to wind up being a director. Well, I think they saw that I was curious.
As Howard's star rose, his parents worked to keep his life normal, scheduling his scenes around school and time with friends.
You didn't miss Little League games, you went to school.
Well, it wasn't me, it was them, and thank God for it. But I think my father, who loved it, but it was always important in his mind that I not be missing my childhood and that I not be trying to cash in on it. It was never about the money. And he always said, from the time I was very young, you know, you have to fulfill contractual obligations, yes, but you don't have to do any more than that.
But Howard wanted to keep going. After Andy Griffith, he attended the University of Southern California to study film. and dropped out when he was cast in George Lucas's American Graffiti. The movie inspired the hit television series Happy Days,
Hi, Fonzie.
where Howard famously starred as Richie Cunningham. During that Happy Days run, Howard married his high school sweetheart, Cheryl. They have 4 children, and next month will celebrate their 43rd anniversary. When Howard wasn't on the set of Happy Days, he was pursuing a future as a director, shooting his own short films and making TV movies.
You were a successful actor,
Yeah.
so I'm sure there were people in your life who said, keep going on this train.
Absolutely, and especially at that time. I mean, the idea of having been a child actor and sort of believing you could be a movie director, not even a TV director, a movie director. I mean, it was at best adorable. And, you know, and really well-meaning people would say, well, you get into your 30s or 40s, and I think somebody will give you a chance.
Howard's chance came much sooner. He was 22 when he struck a deal with producer Roger Corman. Howard would star in Corman's next film, Eat My Dust, at a reduced salary. If Corman would let Howard direct his next film, Grand Theft Auto. In 1982, Howard teamed up with producer Brian Grazer to make the sleeper hit Night Shift. Howard and Grazer followed up with the romantic comedy Splash, and the next year, the Academy Award-winning Cocoon.
I could just tell by the offers that were coming in that I was going to be able to make this my career.
In 1986, Howard and Grazer founded Imagine Films, where together they have created some of the most memorable movies of the last 30 years.
Don't let her know you're scared!
Houston, we have a problem.
In 2001, their film A Beautiful Mind won the Oscar for Best Picture, and Howard was named Best Director. The duo's list of hits is long.
When the president does it, that means it's not illegal.
The secret to the director's success may come from his relatives. Howard puts members of his family in all of his movies. His late father, Rance.
Where are my chairs?
His brother, Clint. But Howard's wife, Cheryl, is the real star of the family.
Cheryl has been in almost every one of your movies.
All of them.
Has she been in all of them?
She's my lucky charm. In fact, it was a little pricey. We had to green screen her into Solo.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that's amazing.
I cut the seed that she was in, and I felt badly about it. She doesn't care, but I care because it's my only superstition.
Right.
And so she said, "Well, let's get a green screen and drop her into a shot." So that's.
Well, you see, the streak is alive then. That's
the streak is alive.
Ron has a reputation as not just one of the most respected directors in Hollywood, but as one of the town's nicest and most grounded guys, and I think you just saw why. Solo, a Star Wars story, will be in theaters on May the 25th. And our thanks to Atlantic Grill here in New York for the setting for our interview. For all you Star Wars fans looking for more intel on the Solo movie from Ron, check out our web extras at today.com/Sunday. And don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Sitdown podcast to hear the entire unedited interview with Ron Howard. You can find it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, along with a long list of our other big interviews.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.